Computer. Okay, hi. I am Lori Katz, the content director at Infobase, and I'm so happy to be speaking with James Chambers, the editor-in-chief at Infobase, and the editor of Ferguson's Career Guidance Center. This award-winning career reference database is going to be redesigned and relaunched next month. And we thought, what better way to get a sneak peek of what's to come than to go behind the scenes with the editor who is making all of these enhancements happen. So thank you for being here, Jim.
Thanks for having me on to talk about Fergusons.
So maybe to start off, can you give us a little background, a little information about what is Ferguson's Career Guidance Center?
Yeah, sure. As you mentioned, it's an award-winning career reference and resource database for lifelong career exploration and planning. Ferguson's offers a wealth of resources for users to assess their career goals and interests, plan their education, learn workplace skills, find apprenticeships and internships, conduct job searches, and much more. Its content and resources support interests and careers at all levels, which is really one of the best features about it. It has something to help students learn about career possibilities all the way up to professionals in the workforce looking for a career change or to improve and advance their current career.
So it sounds like the content's really comprehensive for a whole wide variety of users. Who do you see as the biggest users of Ferguson's Career Guidance Center?
I think most of the Ferguson's users fall into two broad categories. The first includes students, so from high school up to even graduate students who are looking at their career goals and planning a path of education and experience to achieve those goals. So this could be everything from early on in high school taking career assessment tests to find potential careers that match their interests, to applying for internships while you're in college to gain experience, to get your foot in the door. There's a ton of content about education planning and databases for searching for schools of various kinds, as well as financial aid for the schools. And even, if you're farther along in your educational path, there's information there that you need to make the transition from student to the workforce, job search information and similar things. The second category that really will use Ferguson is people in or entering the workforce. So recent graduates seeking their first serious job out of school, or professionals who are already in a career. And for those groups, the resources that Ferguson's provides really help with planning and succeeding with a job search, improving fundamental workplace skills, and changing career paths.
So it really sounds like it covers the whole gamut of every step of a person's career journey. That sounds like one of the hallmarks of the database.
It does. It's the kind of resource you could come back to over time and reuse a lot of the resources, revisit a lot of your goals, and sort of refocus on what you need to do to achieve them.
So what then inspired the relaunch? Why now?
Well, when it comes to career planning and success, I think it's very true that the more things change, the more they stay the same. So in the case of Ferguson's, we saw a need to reconceive the database product to better suit the preferences and interests of contemporary career planners and career seekers. So that includes a more visual presentation and one that incorporates strong proprietary video content. Also, technology has revolutionized the career planning and job search process. A lot of things that used to happen on paper or in person are now done online through video interviews or resume submission portals and things like that. So we've refocused the content and we've added new content to represent those changes. Another thing we've seen is a growing trend for alternatives to the ever more expensive four-year college path. And so as the costs of college rise and not necessarily leading to a career that justifies the expense in some cases, students have been looking for alternate career paths. And one of those is apprenticeships. And we've added a ton of content on what apprenticeships are and how to succeed in them, and also actual apprenticeship programs that you can look into and investigate if that's the path you want to follow.
Oh, wow.
At the same time, though, the fundamentals have stayed the same: finding a job, writing a resume, succeeding in the workforce. All of the basics there really still apply about how to do that, how to make a good impression, how to network, and we're presenting all that information in a new and more accessible way now.
Gotcha. So it sounds like the nuts and bolts, the meat of it, remains the same because those career needs kind of remain unchanged throughout time. But with the growing needs of today's world and today's users, it sounds like Ferguson's Career Guidance Center is making the changes and evolving to stay current with the needs of today's users.
Yes, definitely. We
Yeah.
want to help our users get a good grounding in what the principles are of planning a career and pursuing an educational path, and then how to run a job search.
Yeah.
And what that takes, and how to put your best foot forward, how to make a good impression, what sort of things employers are looking for. We pay attention to reports that come out of various professional fields about what sort of skills they want to see in new hires and things like that. And we want to make all of that relevant to people using the database today, who are in a very in an environment saturated with social media and technology.
So you really help the users stay competitive, I guess, in today's job search.
That's the plan.
Yeah. What are the aspects of Ferguson's Career Guidance Center that are unique among the competition?
Well, Ferguson's offers resources and reference content for lifelong career exploration, planning, and advancement. And nearly all of our content is proprietary and closely curated, edited, and updated on an ongoing basis. I don't know of any other career resource that offers that range of career information that we have in Ferguson's, or information in as much depth, plus the ongoing editorial oversight to respond to changes in the world of work. So I think Ferguson's is really a living, breathing database that we're always working on. And a lot of the content that we publish there is content that we develop directly for the database and in response to trends in employment, trends in interviewing, procedures and practices, and similar things. So it's the kind of product that if you do use it at one point early on when you're planning your career, and you come back a few years later or even many years later to try and use it again, you're going to find fresh content that is current and up to date, and it would hopefully be just as useful in the future as it would be today.
That's great. So it sounds like it's a database that grows with you for every need of the journey. It has something for whatever stage you are at that time. What are your 3 top features that are coming with the relaunch? Do you have a personal favorite?
I love the new design. I would say that's probably my favorite. And the reason that I picked that is because the new look, the new configuration puts all the core content and sections right at the user's fingertips, starting especially on the homepage, which you can see behind me.
Right.
It's all of the core content is right there. So at a glance, you can really see what Ferguson's offers. And we have a main navigation menu. It's a little hamburger menu next to the logo that opens up and shows you the same offering of contents, and that's persistent throughout the entire database. You always have access to that menu. So it's really easy from anywhere in Ferguson's to reach any of the content that you want to look at. So I'm really happy with that. I think that's one of my favorite things about it. I also really think a big step forward with the new design is the integration of video and article content together. So the way we're presenting this now allows users to find information in either medium in the same place topically. So if you're looking at our page on interviewing, you may see there articles as well as videos that talk about how to prepare for an interview, how to dress for an interview, how to perfect for an interview, what questions to expect, and things like that. The third item I would pick is the all-new responsive design.
Mm-hmm.
This is a big step forward for the product because so many people now access online resources on their phones and tablets as well as their PCs. So you never really know what someone's going to be using to look at the content. And one user may use multiple platforms. They may use a desktop PC for part of their work, and then when they're on the go, look at things on their phone. So the responsive design ensures that there will be a great user experience on any device.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And that's important because now people are on the go. They have their phones. Whenever they need this content, it's available to them in a convenient way. Well, how do you see, I know this works for a lot of librarians will be using it, career guidance offices and career centers. How do you see each of those groups using it? Like what is the way each of those groups can get the most out of Ferguson's Career Guidance Center?
I think for librarians, the first step is to identify their patrons' goals. Is it a student, a high school student coming in to explore career possibilities or research colleges? Or is it a recent graduate who's looking to launch their first serious job search? Or is it an experienced worker who is coming in maybe looking to find a new job due to layoffs or a need to change careers or other circumstances? I mean, that's one of the things I think in terms of library usage is there's so much uncertainty and unpredictability in the job market these days that there's really a need for a good resource for people who might find themselves needing to make a change unexpectedly or who want to follow a different, more stable path. And Ferguson's provides resources to help people in all of those situations. So a librarian, once they're familiar with the contents and the content sections, can direct their patrons to the right tools.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well,
Um,
I'm really excited about the relaunch. It sounds like a great new set of features and content coming our way. Is there any last thing you want to add before we sign off?
Oh, I think we covered a lot of ground,
Yeah.
and I just hope that people will give Ferguson's a chance. I believe it really is an excellent tool and an excellent resource for anyone at any level who wants to get started on a career path, improve their skills, their workplace skills, or even just take a look at what the education requirements will be for them to accomplish their professional goals.
Yeah.
And I think it has something for everyone. And so it's really, an excellent starting point, and it's an excellent touch point to come back to over time.
Right. It's really lifelong learning, right? At every step of the way. And especially now during the pandemic, there can be some extra timely uses for it too. People looking for jobs and remotely, they can get a lot of good information. So for anybody who doesn't subscribe to Ferguson's Career Guidance Center, we offer free trials at infobase.com/trial. And that's a great way to see for yourself. And Jim, thank you so much again for taking the time today.
Thank you, Lori. It was a pleasure to talk about Ferguson's.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.